your head and wave it back and forth like, "Hi, hi,
Hey,
it's
look
me!
at me!
Hey!"
Look at me! Look at me! I'm
Pulls his
Mr. Meeseeks, look at me!
Pulls his other arm up and waves them both around like, "Look at me!" Flynn doesn't wave back. He just keeps staring. The seconds pass and nothing happens. We just sit here, and he sits there, and neither of us moves. Eventually, Daxton moves and pushes himself up to his feet, and I reluctantly follow suit. Everything goes quiet as we make our way to the other table. I feel a little tingling sensation around my whiskers that goes all the way back to my spine. See, I had this trans Finnick, and you had these two gay dudes, and they were nice. Everybody was having a good time. I don't belong here. Are you sure about that, Chase? This could be a very nice place to be. Could have a lot of fun. I can't tell if the pool table group is looking at me, but it feels like they are. Well, holy shit. Would you look at that? Actually, do you want to do this voice or me?
Yeah, I'll do him. I'll do his voice. Well, pues sí. I'm gonna try to do like Johnny Bravo. Well, holy shit! Would you look at that? An otter in my water.
The German Shepherd speaks up with an accent that sounds more West Coast than Southwestern. He drops his arm from Flynn's chair, beaming at me with his reddish-brown eyes. The canine turns his attention towards Daxton, eyeing him over. The salamander has his hands folded together, smiling nervously.
And Daxton?
Daxton blinks. "Evening. Have we met?" The man chuckles.
Nah. But I've been with you before. Whenever I come to Skillboard's house here, you're always in your room all loner-like.
Flynn's slitted gaze flicks from Daxton to me. His expression seems to harden before my eyes.
What the fuck are you doing here?
His scaled fingers curl up into fists briefly before unfurling, a large lizard fidgeting in his seat. His tie is gone, and he's unbuttoned most of his shirt. Okay, play this cool, Chase. I've found your phone with an invitation to this place. It's all propped up and everything. I say the last part with a bit of an accusing tone. Flynn narrows his eyes slightly.
Invite? You didn't tell me you were bringing some friends. That's a first.
The shepherd grins again. Tension so thick that you could cut it with a knife doesn't seem to dissuade his cheery demeanor.
I didn't.
He makes an acknowledging grunt, his gaze flicking between us for a moment.
Well, I'm Ryan, you know Flynn, and I know Daxton. So, who are you?
He looks at me, expectant. Before I can speak, Flynn does.
Chase.
His tone is terse, bordering on outright warning.
Chase! Well, fucking otters are cute as hell. Like, you got your wee stubby fingers, plus you're all squeaky and shit.
I blanch, not sure whether to be flattered or offended. I look down at my fingers. Ryan just grins, the red light glistening upon the enamel of his fangs.
Take a seat, you two. Good to see Skillboy actually has friends.
Daxton looks down at one of the red fabriced chairs with a wary demeanor. Well, as long as they're not too sticky. This elicits a throaty, crackling cackle from the dog.
It's part of the charm.
Oh, much like yours?
Ho ho! Fuck me, man. Good one.
I take a seat across from Flynn, who's now staring at a wall. Glancing over, I notice that Daxton has been standing with his hands folded behind his back, his posture completely vertical, just like Captain Amicus does in Ad Astra. The salamander scoots past and takes a seat beside me. He fishes out Flynn's phone from his pocket and slides it over to him across the table. Flynn looks at it for a good 3 seconds before snatching it and shoving it into his pocket. You're welcome.
I didn't ask for this.
Daxton shrugs indifferently. Flynn looks at me again, his expression less intense, but still a frown. Hi! A quiet yet shrill-toned voice peeps up from behind us. Turning, I see the gender-ambiguous Finnick fox from earlier.
This is totally for you, Finn.
They quickly walk past us, tugging lightly at Ryan's shirt. They mumble something I can't quite make out, and Ryan practically coos back at the little Finnick. He reaches up, squeezing their waist, and they make a little herp noise. Ryan pulls out his wallet, withdrawing a few bills, and hands them to the fox. The middle-aged horse duo walks up as well, cues and grasp. With one of the red polo bumps, and the one with the red polo bumps into the Fennec, resting his hand on their shoulder. They flinch initially, before a sheepish smile forms upon their lips. The Fennec spins around clumsily, nearly toppling over onto the table. The older male catches them and keeps them in place. Easy now, Desert Cutie. Let's see. So I've got Fennec, Daxton, Chase. Do you want to do this horse?
Yeah, I'll do the horse.
How many horses are there? There's two, but are they both voiced?
I don't know if they're both voiced or not.
Who knows? We'll figure it out. They wrap their arms around a Yeah, go for it. Easy now, Desert Cutie, if you want.
Easy now, Desert Cutie.
They wrap their arms around the equine's girthy midsection, their paws gingerly patting at his back pockets.
Oh, and you want some money for something from the bar, sweetheart? Don't know where the tender's gone and ran off to.
Red Polo fetches $20 bill for the fox, placing it in the little one's maw. They're treating them like a youngling, but the fox seems to be at least 30 years old from the sagging of their face and splotchy fur.
Of fucking course. Casey's doing that bidding war bullshit again.
Flynn takes a swig of his booze. The older men stare at him, suddenly looking a bit uneasy. Red Polo turns, trying to usher Casey away towards the main counter. However, the fox seems to resist. They squirm, quickly writhing out of the equine's grasp and stumbling their way over towards Flynn, nearly crawling on top of Ryan to do so. Everyone seems to freeze in place as the fox pushes their muzzle up close to Flynn's. Flynn looks dull-eyed back at the Finnick.
I don't got any money for you.
It's okay. I just want to make you less grumpy. Grumpy. They look at each other, saying nothing. Flynn's parts his lips slightly, and the Finnick pushes their face against his, maws meeting in a deep kiss. His eyes go wide for a moment, then shut tight, returning the affection just the same. My heart feels like it stops. and my sweat goes cold. I feel sick, like I want to puke or something. I mean, I had felt some sort of deep gnawing feeling since I saw Ryan's arm around Flynn, but I guess I wasn't prepared for something so visceral. But I don't do anything. I just sit there and watch. Ryan, meanwhile, grasps the fox's rear, grinning in that Cheshire way he does.
Good to see you not sourpussing the whole night, Flynn. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Fucking whore.
Red Polo turns, leaving his friend behind and making his way towards the exit with a few huffed swears. The T-poloed male, who is some sort of Shire Clydesdale type, watches him leave but doesn't follow.
Says the married man.
Casey pulls back from Flynn, a string of saliva still hanging between their lips. Flynn's nostrils flare as he exhales upon the fox's face. This seems to set Casey off, and they kiss him again, with even more ferocity. Daxton's looking at me now, his eyes wide. The salamander silently mouths, "Hey, what the fuck? Hey, what the fuck?" I don't even have the capacity within me to respond with anything other than a curt nod.
Wow, really putting on a show for the new friends.
Teal Polo is looking down at Daxton and I now.
Well, noting the festivities, you youngins wanting a drink or something? I'm Mike.
No, we're good. I'll have two doubles of whatever tequila is the cheapest. Mike blinks.
I'll be right back then, kid. Let me find the bartender. Ryan's back in the smoke room, Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit.
So this is this sort of like the renovated version of the like 1920s establishment?
The smoke room? I think so.
Okay.
I think so. That's pretty dope.
Uses his free hand, the one not currently groping Fox ass, and points towards a wooden door in the corner of the room by a potted plastic saguaro. I think that's a cactus.
You got it. Yeah, it's a cactus. It's the big ones that kind of look weird.
Oh yeah, that have those
Arizona.
like arms that come off and stuff.
Yeah, they wave at you.
The one that looks like I don't remember what they're called for Final Fantasy, but like that cactus dude.
Oh yeah, the cactus monster, yeah.
Yeah. The smoke room. Mike gives Ryan an uneasy look. I get the impression from his demeanor and the casino wristband he's wearing that he isn't a local.
Well, I'll be right back then.
He forces a smile before turning and heading towards the aforementioned smoke room. Ryan crosses his legs, letting his head roll from side to side before speaking up.
I think we should head there too, right, Flynn?
Flynn and the Finnick part lips again. The Gila looks at me before responding.
All right.
Man, what's wrong with you? All eyes shift to Daxton now. Flynn grunts.
You don't get to fucking judge me, creep ass. Watch me jerk off at night, but can't stand the sight of me macking on someone? For fuck's sake.
The round-faced salamander jaw goes slack.
Oh, you've been busted, Daxton. Watching and not helping out's a real grave offense.
What? What the hell are you even talking about? Daxton looks to me. I say nothing, thinning my lips.
You know what I'm talking about.
I truly don't.
Hey. Let's not play he said, she said. Alright, Daxton, Chase, you like to party?
The dog reaches into his pocket. The Finnick turns from Flynn, biting their lip as they begin to lean in on Ryan's shoulder. They wiggle their hips in such a manner that Flynn gets a face full of fuzz, the Gila sputtering a bit. I'm reminded of long bus rides home with Jenna and Flynn back in junior high. Not that Jenna acted anything remotely like Casey, though. Flynn would be the aggressor, pulling at her fur and making native jokes until Jenna would donk him right on the nose with a biology textbook. Ryan withdraws a small plastic baggie with about six tiny spheroid dots inside. They look kind of like that expensive pebble ice cream they sell at theme parks. I had always wished Carl's parents would start selling that stuff, but they said it was just a gimmick and that it doesn't make ice cream taste any better. He opens the little baggie, placing one of the pebbles on the eager Finnick's tongue, then his own. German Shepherd rises to his feet. He's large, but as tall as Leo. He extends the baggie to Daxton and I. Before I can respond, Flynn interjects, swiping the baggie and closing it before handing it back to Ryan.
Yeah, nah, fucker. You deciding for them? Bit rude, man, my man. This shit ain't addictive unless you're depressed or something. Daxton's got a heart condition, and I'm fucking pretty sure Chase has got drug tests for summer internships to worry about.
Daxton crosses his arms over his chest. Yeah, I'm good. Candy from strangers and that whole business, too. Speaking of... Mike comes out from the corner door with 2 drinks in his grasp. He has a sort of blank expression as he sets them down in front of me.
You have fun back there?
Ryan quickly deposits the baggie back into his trousers, pushing his chair in. Flynn stands up as well.
We didn't have time for fun. Had to tend to Kid Boozy here. Kid Boozy? That sounds like one of them urban rap types. You spit the rhymes, Chase?
Ryan chuckles. I look down at myself, then back up.
Fuck no, he doesn't. I've seen Chase do cowboy poetry back in school. Not a pretty sight.
He looks at me, seemingly uncaring of the fact that Casey is now all up on Ryan and not him.
I remember you and Carl got up and did yours about alien abductions and anal probes in the desert. The principal got so pissed.
I let out a little huff as the memory comes back to me. Surprised he remembers that. Yeah? It didn't start off that way, but UFO rhymed with lasso, and it was all downhill from there. Cowboys versus aliens, holy shit.
Ain't no probes, eh?
Ryan grins, reaching over and slugging my shoulder. His angle's off, so it's more like a tap than a punch. Daxton lets out a slightly exasperated noise. That was your takeaway from that conversation?
You sound like you've got a probe or two up yours, Daxton. Or a lack thereof.
Daxton closes his eyes and rubs the flat of his nose, still looking a bit flustered from Flynn's accusation earlier. I clear my throat, speaking up towards the towering equine beside me. Thank you, sir. I give the large horse a nod of appreciation before taking a hearty glug from one of the glasses. Oh my god, this fucking burns. My muzzle pulls into a grimace as I try to swallow as much as I can, eyeing the glass. I only got about a fourth of the way down the double. Guess I'm the designated driver now. Ryan thrums back towards the door to the aforementioned smoke room.
Hey, you all want to join? We're good, Ryan.
Flynn basically pushes Ryan's back, shuffling the seemingly attached Casey along with. A long silence follows, and all three of us watch them until they disappear behind the faded wooden door. I let out a long exhale, then placed my face in my palms. I don't know what he meant when he said I watched him jerk off. What the hell is he talking about? I can hear the creaking of the seats across from me. Mike must be sitting down with us.
I would take it as the highest compliment if someone was watching me beat off.
I'm never leaving my room again.
I'm assuming you youngins are also new to this dusky establishment, is that right?
Mike speaks in a sort of southern drawl cadence that's more like bayou than prairie.
And if you ain't gonna drink that, kid, I'll gladly finish it for you.
I uncover my eyes, slowly reaching for the glass of auburn liquid and bringing it to my lips again. The second time doesn't hurt as much, and I manage to swallow another fourth without any tears. Yeah, this is the first time for me. How did you find out about this place? He crosses his arms, leaning back in his seat. The chair creaks in audible protest to his weight.
I was about to ask the same thing.
You
was wondering what cute pups. Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I was about to ask the same thing you. Was wondering what cute pups like you two would be doing in a place like this. I got a couple meetings down in Peyton, so I stopped by the casino for a few hours with the one-armed bandit. So I have one of them sex applications you download to your cell phones, right?
Downloaded that all by yourself, did you? Daxton comments dryly.
Well, can't exactly get my nephew to help me out with that one, could I?
You could. It'd just be very awkward. Much like this whole night. Daxton's staring at the wood grain of the table and tracing it with his fingers.
A bit rough, yeah? Well, anyway, I was on the sex application, and this fella started chatting me up with the huffy one I was just with. He was also staying at a casino. He suggested we come down here for some fun, so I followed suit. Place was packed with Finnick folk earlier. They all went back there, though.
He points towards the corner room. So, this place is for gay guys, right?
That's most probably the case. That okay with you?
A slight smile curls up on the edge of Mike's maw, and Daxton is wrought to a brief stutter. I don't care, you know. You do you. I'll do me.
Maybe I'll do you too, yeah?
Oh my god! Daxton has been slapped. Daxton looks like he's been slapped. His tail coiling inward. Mike just chuckles in a bassy rumble.
Oh boy, that straightened your curls, didn't it? Did you download that all by yourself? Ha! You sassy little shit.
My phone vibrates. Is that, a hail from Tactical? Daxton says it as if it's physically painful for him to utter those words. Mike's expression shifts, and he looks curiously at the salamander. I check my phone. It's from Flynn. Come to the smoke room.
Come to the smoke room alone.
Huh. The emptying feeling that had taken hold of me seems to alleviate some, and is quickly replaced by a whole new sort of anxiety. So maybe he's not leaving me high and dry, after all. But what the fuck is he doing?
A hail from Tactical?
It's a reference. I held up my phone. Flynn wants to talk to me, I think. Never straightforward with him, is it?
I don't know, kid. Still watch that Astra.
Oh my god. These two nerds are just gonna be like,
It's nerd alert time!
They're just gonna be sitting in like a corner, like animatedly chatting to each other about Tactical, about that Astra. Like, oh my god, remember that one episode with the cell women?
Oh, dude, do you remember the trouble with Trouble-Bubbles? They're like space bunnies!
What? Daxton's attention snaps so quickly back to Mike, it's almost comical. I'll be right back. You can text Carl or something and ask if he wants to come in. I push myself up to stand, realizing my legs feel kind of weak. I hadn't noticed much at the time, but they were shaking earlier, something fierce. There's a no smoking sign hanging from the corner door. A little irony, I guess. With a low breath and a straightening of my shirt, I pull the handle and step inside. Jenna tackles me.
Starts beating on Carl. How did he get in here?
My feet touch what feels like bare soil. With a quick check, I realize the floors are wood, just laden with a layer of dust, grime, and peanut shells. The smell of spilled beer, cigarettes, and sweat is a combination of the likes which I've never smelt stronger. I turn, and Ryan is only a few feet in front of me, standing in the middle of the room with Casey. They're fucking. Flynn's next to them, his shirt open and belt undone. The light pulsates on and off at infrequent intervals. Everything goes from pitch black to lit up bright, and of course, there's not a window to be seen. I hear ambient voices around me. A decent amount of people are here. Most of them are completely naked. Behind Flynn, gay porn plays on a crooked mounted television screen. Speakers and subwoofers rumble with the bassy drone of bizarre music. Silhouettes of people dancing in a limp daze. The flickering lights make the shapes look like rag dolls flailing in stop motion. The lights begin to strobe red, and it's overpowering to the senses. Too much to bear. I grab the end of my tail, squinting through actual smoke. Flynn? My voice comes out more pathetic than intended. The music's so intense, I can't tell if I'm being loud or quiet. Everything goes black again. I hear a clap and a cry, followed by a baritone voice. I think that's the wolf, by the way.
This is what you want.
Did Flynn say that? There's a glint in the darkness, and I know it's Flynn's eyes. He's He's not looking at me. His eyes may be aimed in my general direction, yet he's not actually looking at me. But the guy behind him is.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Ryan cranes his neck some, looking towards me with that big old grin. His long tongue hangs out the side of his maw.
Oh, hey, Chase! Come here!
I've never been beckoned by a guy currently balls deep inside someone else, so I'm pretty hesitant to obey. Flynn turns away from the duo, facing me. His expression sort of reminds me of how he got when his aunt was talking to him in City Hall. His eyes are a little more open than usual. His jowls are pulled back along the sides of his snout to show his teeth.
So, you showed up.
Flynn limply gestures to his surroundings right as Ryan bucks hard enough into Casey to elicit a loud moan. Casey curls their feet against Ryan's own, the only clothing still on their body being stripped, thigh-high fabric tights of some sort. Ryan, meanwhile, is still fully clothed aside from his red prick sticking out from his fly and into Casey. A small crowd has gathered to the left side of the room around something. I can't make out what, but there's more moaning in that direction as well. Flynn's attention seems solely on me, despite everything happening around him. He's waiting on me to say something. I step forward, letting go of my tail. Suddenly, Casey grabs Flynn's shirt, nearly yanking him over. You know! Flynn blinks, turning to speak briefly to the Finnick.
Just give me a minute. Should we try to play it cool or just admit that Chase is completely out of the element? He's like, this is fucked up, man. Zoink Scoob, this is fucked up, man.
So, here's the thing. I've been in spaces like this. This is just... It's not pure abandon, but you're all having a great time. And Flynn's gonna see through Chase's bullshit either way. So, my real question...
Be honest. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, like, the whole thing is, like, this scene is about honesty. It's about what you want. It's about letting go and just embracing and being. You don't need to play it cool. But if it's this is fucked means he runs away, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. And if he plays it cool, Flynn's gonna see through it, but will everyone else?
Let's make a save.
So go back. Save.
Let's go with this is fucked. After saving. I pushed my paws into my pockets. God, how the hell did I go from watching old sci-fi shows with Carl and Daxton to this? Sorry. Wrong door. I turn quickly, trying to figure the weird twisty door handle to get out of here. I hear the rustling of fabric and the jingling of a loose belt. A hand grasps my shoulder, and judging from the orange and black pattern, it's Flynn.
You can't keep your nose in your own business. You know that, right?
Despite the words, he sounds worried. I clear my throat, trying not to sound too freaked out. Well, you know me, snoopy journalist. Don't worry, this isn't going in the report.
You gonna get me hanging over here with this
Ryan rests his heavy chin on the cooing Casey's shoulders, giving Flynn and I puppy eyes even as he bounces Casey on his crotch.
You look like you got it covered.
Flynn keeps his hand on me, though no longer as tight. So you did leave that phone out for me to find it, right? Flynn rolls his head some as if debating speaking further. Finally, he looks back down to me.
Didn't expect you to bring my fucking roommate. That was awkward as shit. Now I gotta deal with the fallout of all this when I get home.
You're the one who accused him of watching you masturbate after making out in front of us.
I'm pretty sure he did. Or at least someone was.
He doesn't seem like the kind of person to do that.
And you never struck me as the sort of person who would be dumb enough to bring him along when I tried to make it damn clear I just wanted you.
I blink. Wanted me? He ushers me back against one of the walls near the entrance. Looking around, I notice that the clientele seems to mainly fall into one of two groups. Finnick natives and middle-aged men. Most of them look like generic dads, which makes Flynn's presence here all the more strange. What the hell even is this place, Flynn? I feel the Gilla's weight shift against me as he shrugs.
Tits if I know. Some fucking thing, though. Ain't it? It's... you know.
He looks at me. Something to be judging the expression. Seeming to be judging the expression on my face.
A fucking sleazy dump.
There's a flicker of a smile on Flynn's face before the lights come back on. It's laden with a tinge of nervousness. With everything illuminated, I can finally see what the small crowd is all gathered around. There's an actual tiger in the middle. The guy must weigh 300 pounds. On his paws and knees in front of him is a rather chubby finnick. Large for his species as well. There's a jar of lard next to them, and the tiger's paw is... There's literally someone getting fisted over there, Flynn.
Yep, I know. I wasn't gonna comment on it, with you in your fragile mental state and whatnot.
Remember, gentlemen, remember everyone. You make a duck bill, and then you just go where you're not getting resistance. After you lube up. He sniffs, staring ahead while looking tight-lipped. How'd you even find this place?
Ryan showed me it a long while back. It was so fucking gross. There was like 4 old-ass beavers with balls down to their knees rutting in the corner.
And you came back?
Boy, this ain't fucking ritzy-ass Pueblo where there's 12 gay bars within 10 miles, equipped with cheap beer and blowjob dispensers. You get bored.
And lonely? Flynn grunts, and I feel his weight on my shoulder intensify some. So, Ryan's your... friend? My voice comes across more curt than I meant. Flynn fidgets, the music getting louder for a moment, so we don't speak.
He's the friend that's not going to be leaving in 3 days, so he's the friend.
A pang hits deep inside my chest. I get quiet.
I thought, fuck it. Might as well get all the baggage out and show you what I'm apparently all about and shit.
You're all about seedy sex clubs?
Well, it's just... I can't exactly go telling anyone else in the group about this shit. Oh yeah, Jenna. I was out at a bar off the res and was fucking some of your people the other night. How are you doing? Good point, Flynn. Give him that.
I frown, coughing a bit from some of the passing smoke. The people smoking inside and the lack of adequate ventilation are making my eyes water. God, she's already furious at you.
GJ, do you know what sounding is? Because me and this bull guy did it last week and we had a cross necklace. Reminded me of you.
So here's the big question. Do you know what sounding is?
What I see? No.
It's where you take some sort of rod, it can be metal or glass, and we'll get really technical here because that'll probably work. And you insert it into the urethra. And if you do it right, you could either just go to the base of the urethra, or you could angle it. And I don't know if you can get to the prostate gland with it. I don't know if that's dangerous or not, or if you can actually do that. But I mean, considering it's just a straight line, probably. But it's evidently very fun.
I see.
I find myself also so for everybody who's watching this who does not know what that is and is interested, make absolutely certain that you use medical grade lubes. You do not want a UTI from that, and you will most likely get one if you just use whatever random lube that's filled with bacteria that you have around. You do not want one of those. I found myself cracking a half smile.
Make sure that you sterilize whatever you're sticking there with fire. Make sure it's good, piping hot.
I mean, make sure it's clean. I mean, that goes without saying. I find myself cracking a half smile at the hypothetical conversation, even if the other half of my face is still a grimace. No way. You don't actually do that, do you? The large Gila harumphs.
I wasn't the one getting it in my dick, if that's what you're asking. I'm a lizard. We don't got big urethras.
That's disgusting. Flynn shitters a bit himself. He doesn't usually laugh at his own jokes, and his tone is actually a bit sheepish. So that's where my missing handheld stylus went?
No, that was probably Carl. I used one of your parents' cantaloupes for getting off back in junior high, though. Don't remember if I threw it out or not.
Again, Flynn fidgets. I can't say if I've ever seen Flynn so damn angsty. I'm aghast, unsure whether he's being serious or not, though I might as well counter him. Aha! You sure it wasn't one of the cucumbers?
Nah, they weren't big enough for me.
To my surprise, he reaches down and grabs my waist.
Look, you obviously ain't warming to the scene back here.
That's an understatement.
So, if we're gonna have a talk, and I ain't pushing ya one way or the other for this shit, let's do it outside.
I'm not sure what he means by talk. In fact, I doubt he's even sure what he means by talk. Still, it sounded like a better idea than staying back here. I mean, that's what I'm here for, right? To talk to Flynn? Right. Sure you are. Alright, man. I'm alright. I'm okay. But that sounds fine. Flynn gives me a dubious expression. I feel him squeeze my shoulder some.
Where are you two going?
Ryan calls out from across the room, mid-thrust into Casey's behind. after a few people actually turn their heads looking at us. Flynn hesitates for a moment before grunting and shouting back.
We're gonna go shit in each other's mouths.
I blink. Flynn tugs on my shoulder, and we hastily leave the smoke room.
Oh, ha, have fun! Of course, you fucking brought Carl too.
We come to a stop just outside the building, next to the small wash that winds by the parking lot. It's amazing how fresh the air tastes in contrast to the inside, though I feel the smoke in my fur even now. The bottoms of my feet are also stickier from sources I'd rather not contemplate. For some reason, I'm a bit shaky, like it's cold or something. It still feels above 60 degrees out here, though. Aguila crosses his arms over his chest. His expression remains indiscernible, though his demeanor is twitchier than normal. So am I, though. So you and Carl are like best friends. Why are you so upset that he's here? Flynn frowns.
I told you earlier, dipshit. This wasn't supposed to be some big-ass gathering.
Never thought I'd say this, but you seem like you're ashamed or something. Which, I mean, makes sense. This place is like... Flynn cants his head some, already defensive.
What?
Like, stuff you read about. Stuff that doesn't actually exist. Flynn waves dismissively, making some sort of disgruntled noise.
I don't know what you want, Chase. I got feeling about what you think you want, but not what you really want. So, tell me what you think you want, and I'll go from there, alright, tit dirt?
I dip my paws into my pockets, not sure what to say. Despite the darkness, I can tell Flynn is staring at me with some sort of unyielding gaze. So, I guess we're not going to shit it in each other's mouths, then? He snarks through style, though stifles himself quickly. He knows I'm dodging.
Look at me.
Flynn bumps his knuckles beneath my chin to ease my head up. I flinch instinctively. I realize my nerves are more shot than I thought.
Calm your shit.
He drops his hand. I see his gaze flick to the side, then back to me.
Please.
That catches me off guard. I let out a big breath of air, tugging at some of the fabric inside my pockets. The only person I've ever had sex with prior to this break was Leo. I'm not really ready for this sort of stuff, you know? I mean, Jesus Christ! I didn't even think you were ready for all of that, and you're...
Flynn, the giant slut. Yeah, I know.
We joked about that sort of stuff in there when we were kids. Didn't actually think you'd go this far.
Okay, hold on. You're telling me you didn't fuck a single guy for the past 3 years?
Yeah.
Jesus fuck, Chase. You're an independent-ass adult living in a big city. You're not even that ugly. Your body's got this weird lumpness shit going on. You smell like a clogged sewer drain, and your soul patch makes you look like a hipster cunt. But you could probably get anyone you wanted.
He looks at me like he's going to elaborate on that last remark, but he doesn't. Thank you? I reach up, touching my bit of chin scruff again. Still there.
I get it. You and Leo being together so long fucked you up. You had your little perfect romance until it wasn't. You were two gay kids in backwards ass Shitville. Woe to ya and all that. Except you weren't the only two gay kids. There was one more.
Flynn brings his hand to his temple, rubbing at his brow ridge. He steps off. He steps offward, moving close to the edge of the wash. Despite everything, I follow him. I came out to you first.
Yeah, and that was fucking baffling.
He huffs, kicking a crushed beer can into the sandy loam below. You never took a fucking guess? The curtness of my tone takes him by surprise. He turns my way, his slitted eyes seeming to bounce as if they're looking me over.
Your horny 15-year-old ass wanted my dick.
I let out a frustrated groan, resisting the urge to shove Flynn into the wash. No, idiot. You were the oldest, and despite how crude you were, I knew you'd know how to handle it in a way that wasn't, I don't know, patronizing or something. After everyone found out I was like this, people started treating me differently right away, yeah?
I was 18. You were 15. You never took a fucking guess.
I furrow my brow, pulling my paws out of my pockets and crossing my arms tight over my chest.
I wasn't gonna take advantage of some tumultuous kid whose balls just dropped. The moral quandary didn't stop our supreme group patriarchy, though. After that, folks started treating you different because you had a big-ass Latin wolf wrapped around you at all hours of the day. Whinge your ass off about that all you want, but you two were fucking just the worst with that PDA shit. We were bitches about how the group started splitting when we got older, but it wasn't his own damn fault. Who wants to be around that fucking stuff every day?
I curl my paws into fists. I don't think I could take Flynn in a fight, but a clean punch to the jaw is starting to feel more and more worth it. So,
oh, Chase, don't sell yourself short.
So that explains it all, then. Gay stuff disgusts you. You think you're disgusting, so you cling to places like this because it's what you think you deserve. I just my arm out, pointing to the dilapidated red building beside us. You're a self-hating prick. Flynn stares ahead, going quiet as a large semi-truck passes by on the nearby highway. Something seems to change in him, like a switch being flicked. After a moment, he blows out a long breath of air before simply shaking his head.
Fucking way off mark. Aren't you supposed to be a journalist or something? You two ignored all of our asses. Carl was your best friend, and you just fucking dropped him the moment you started riding the dick of Mr. Football. Did wonders for his self-esteem, really. He turned out just peachy, yeah? Oh, and TJ. Oh man, what a bunch of victims you two were to his just overwhelming Christian persecuting. Flynn don't be saying bad words in front of him. He's very delicate. Yeah, I'm the bad guy. But you two took some sick pleasure in insulting him and his nice-ass family because of what he is. Even though you two knew damn well he nor his family has anything close to ill will for us dirty sodomites. Then there's Jenna. Remember when you three all used to hang out at videos where shit got real fucking awful for her? Remember how they just stopped when you two started learning your dicks could go in each other's asses? Remember how shit got worse and worse for her? Remember when she changed her name? Remember when Adam killed himself and her dad did that thing?
Flynn steps towards me, hunching down nearly a foot to meet me at eye level.
Heard you at least found some time to give her a ride out of town when she finally had to run away, though. Since you and Leo were fighting that weekend. See, when Leo and I fucked, you didn't see him cooing about it to everyone in earshot for the next week.
I feel my chest going tight. What? Flynn rises to his full, unhunched height. Without another word, he turns and walks past me. What do you mean? My heart pounds and I follow. Where are you going? He rounds the corner and I try to catch up, but my foot latches on a root. I slide forward and feel my fur scrape the bark. My full body flips somehow and my tail strikes the ground first, bending back and launching me forward like a spring. Next thing I know, my whole body is in the air before I feel the dark, sandy ground of the wash bed beat my face. My ears ring and I feel blood begin to seep from my nose. I lay there unmoving. As I shut my eyes and I feel a sting within them, I realize I haven't cried in a long time.
You want to talk about the smoke room, Mr. Muir?
Yeah, so when we look at America, I know we're going really
Fuck
big.
yeah!
We're going really big from the start. So America is absolutely petrified of sex, despite the fact that, every single American resulted from sex. We take this stuff and we hide it behind curtains, and we do everything that we can to try and obscure it, to hide it, to shame it. But you really don't need to be doing that. We have enormous, we'll say, assault rates that are, we'll say, intimate in nature, I guess. And the part of that comes from people just being encouraged to repress constantly. America is a country of sexual repression. When you go to Europe, like literally, a man and a woman might just be friends and they just look at each other and it's like, fancy a shag? All right, sure, let's do it. And they'll just screw. And they'll have fun. And they'll enjoy themselves. And afterwards, they can step away and be like, yeah, that was just a shag. We were just having fun. Not a problem. This isn't some big thing. We just did it. We had a good time. Now we move on. And it doesn't destroy their relationship. But in America, because there's so much shame and so much stuff about this that seems like it needs to be hidden, stuff that can't be in the daylight at all. It all has to be hidden. It all has to be behind closed doors. There's a certain type of shame to it all. And as a result of that, people in America are very sexually repressed, to a holy shit degree. The thing is, here's what's really entertaining about this. So let's compare that to, say, Japan. Now, those of you who know something about Japan know that they are, erotic stuff is just out in the open. It's just everywhere. You'll go and you'll see an anime character or a model and their ass and tits are just hanging out. And it's like, oh, okay. And this is, but at the same time, it's like, look at this. This is great. Human figure is perfectly fine. Nothing to be ashamed about. Now, I'm not saying that they go as far as the smoke room, but they have their own clubs for that. There is a degree of this which is sort of hidden in almost every culture. But there is something that's kind of important, which is that people who accept who they are sexually, who accept who they are, in gender and everything, they end up much happier because they're not repressing all of that. They're willing to say, this is who I am, this is what I am, and this is what I want. And being able to say that, this is what I want, this thing right here, that's what I want, that's good. That's really important. The kind of some of the interesting things that come with that is whenever you have like someone who obviously is not accepted, if you will. So when we look at Flynn, his aunt does not seem to approve of him being gay. That's the gist I get. And so, for him to be successful and happy, he has to hide that because he's kind of at her beck and call. She has a lot of control, it seems, in his life. That's probably how he has the house that he has. It's because his family is able to pay him probably very well to do this job and have that house. But if she decided that she didn't want him there, she wanted him to just go away, maybe he's the maybe he's the Black Gilla of the family, then she probably could, and he'd probably be screwed. So there's a certain amount of like self-acceptance, and when you line that up with expectations of what's around you. So what are places like the smoke room with all of this in mind? Okay, so it's a secret place where really you kind of have to be told that it's there. And then once you learn that it's there, you kind of have to be invited into it. It's not a space that most people are going to be interested in. Well, it's not a space that most people are going to stumble into. Now, let's talk about gay dynamics for just a second. So, we look at most straight relationships. You don't run into a whole lot of poly relationships. Poly relationships are just polysexual, polyamorous relationships. Polyamorous, specifically. So you don't really run into a ton of those because in a poly relationship, a polycule as it's called, you have multiple people who are all sort of in love with and having sex with potentially each other all the time. So you would have let's say the smallest one that you have is 3 people, and they're all 3 of them are in a relationship with each other in a big 3-way, and they all accept that and they're all happy about it. Okay, makes sense. Everybody's getting what they want. The problem starts to come in with straight relationships because now at least someone has to be bi. Right? So if you have a relationship where it's a man, a woman, and then another woman, well, one of those 2 women is going to have to be some amount of bi for it to really be a poly relationship. 2 guys, one of the guys has to at least be some degree of bi. Maybe he is hetero-flexible in that relationship somewhere. But when you run into gay relationships, you don't really have to worry about that. Everyone's gay, or at least bi, to some degree. So everyone can sort of enjoy their poly relationship and have a good time. Now, the trend is that you will have someone who is a little bit older, sometimes much older, who's the one leading these sort of polycules. But there's also this concept of a fairly open pack, if you will. So when it comes to gay groups, you'll have a pack of people where typically you have a leader. It may not, they might be the actual leader of the group. They may be the, I don't like using terms like alpha or beta or omega because those get used by incels. Because incels look at like that wolf pack research that was done that the author, but so they look at that one where that guy suggested that wolf packs have like alphas, betas, and omegas and all this stuff. And then he spent like the next 10, 20 years basically telling people that research paper was wrong. Here's what's actually going on. And everyone just ignored him. He's like, guys, that research was bad research. Don't believe it. It's not how they actually work. Everyone just ignores him. Okay, sounds good. But we'll say you have the pack leader, who's kind of like the CEO. You have the pack, the active pack members, we'll say. They're the ones who go and get stuff done. And then you have the people who are just members of the pack, who are just there to enjoy themselves, but aren't really doing anything or really leading anything. And, so we have the leaders, the doers, and the tag-alongs, I guess, we'll say. The leaders, the doers, and the participants, maybe. I'm trying not to, like, make any group seem bad, because they're not bad. So what's going on there with Ryan and his group is Ryan's the leader, and he has a handful of participants. I'm not really sure if there's any like doers there. Like maybe Flynn is one of the doers. Maybe one of the horses is a doer. Typically the members of these packs can be somewhat disparate in their locations, and they'll come together for things. The Fennec is 100% one of the participants. The trend tends to be that in terms of who tops who. You may not know that terminology. Do you know that terminology, Terry?
I mean top and bottom and stuff?
Yeah, like who we'll say, enters whom.
I think it's usually the top enters the bottom.
Yeah, okay. You got the idea. Yeah. Typically the top is the one that's doing the penetrating.
The bottom has like a lot of say in like what they actually do, right?
Oh, no. It's 100% 50-50. Like 100%. This is the thing that people don't seem to get about this whole dynamic. It's 100%. Everyone is doing what they want, and everyone who's participating is fully on board. This is the thing that the media gets wrong about a lot of this stuff. Like it's still a relationship. It's still 50-50, but there's illusory boundaries that are in place. We're playing that, someone has more control than someone else, but in all actuality, it's 50-50.
That's why they got safe words and stuff whenever they're doing something like BDSM. Like it only goes as far. It's supposed to only go as far as like the person that's the I guess what was it, the sub in this case?
So
in that case wants it to go.
So we're getting into some pretty technical terminology there. A sub is different from a bottom, believe it or not. But we can simplify it down to we'll just not even go there because that's like, that's like thing. TED Talk levels of explaining stuff.
TED Talk. Well, welcome to my TED Talk about sex.
Dude, there are entire wikis written about this stuff. Like, yeah, it's really complex. But I will say this just about BDSM real quick. If you, dear viewer, are ever interested in that area of, we'll say, intimacy with another person, I highly encourage you to find munches. That's sort of like a BDSM get-together, meetup. that's about that specific thing you're interested in. If you're interested in rope bondage, 100% go to a munch that is about rope bondage. I cannot stress this enough. Because right now, you're looking at ropes and thinking, oh yeah, I know what I would do. I know how all this works. I can guarantee you have no clue. Unless you've been to a munch and you've been doing it properly. So I'll give you a fantastic example, and then we'll go into a sad example. So when you think about tying someone's arms up, maybe you're going to tie them up or something and have some fun. Well, you're probably going to use 2 granny knots. You make a knot, you exit, and then you exit again. Cool. Here's my question for you. How tight can the rope be? What happens when the rope needs to come off really quickly? Like maybe their hands are starting to, I forget the technical term. Their hands are starting to turn blue. Cyanosis, I think is what it is. Maybe they can't feel their hands, or when you touch their hands are kind of cool to the touch. Okay, how do you get the rope off quick? Oh, you don't have a knife for that? Oh, rookie mistake. So you sit there and you start untying, this knot. But what happens if you tied a bunch of these knots all together because you wanted to try something that you saw somewhere and they're all equally taut on each other? And now to basically get a knot off of that hand, you have to kind of undo all this stuff that you just spent 30 minutes setting up. Well, 30 minutes from now, they probably have permanent nerve damage in that hand. Good job. You just did that because you didn't know what you were doing. Fantastic work. We're all so proud of you. So there's a lot of things about this stuff that you won't know because it's not necessarily immediately intuitive, and it's only stuff that you would understand either with hard-earned experience, which usually means either you're getting directly damaged by someone's bad decisions or someone else is getting directly damaged by your bad decisions. And a munch can tell you everything that you're supposed to do. Like you're supposed to use slip knots. That's what it is. Always a slip knot. What is a slip knot? You tie it like a granny knot, but instead of the second granny knot part, you instead leave a tail. Or you tie the knot in a way that makes it so that you pull one string, the entire knot comes apart. No granny knot needed. So there are ways to tie things, for example, just going over rope bondage, where if someone's hand starts feeling kind of cold or numb, or they start telling you that it hurts, you can pull one string, their hand is free. And circulation's going back there, no nerve damage, nothing. Right. So, like, people who are new, again, go with the idea of rope bondage, they might buy really small ropes because that's good, right? Terrible idea. You want as big of ropes as you can possibly use to get around them and restrain them, because then the pressure of the rope is distributed over a larger part of their body. Up to a certain extent. You don't need to be having like ship cables, but
you also don't want, I guess one point in that, because I have zero experience in this, is you don't want tiny rope, because like trying to, if you ever felt fishing wire cut into your skin, that don't work.
Yeah, it bites into you. It's not fun. So my point in bringing all this up is there are literally rope munches where riggers with an R that's what you call a person who likes to do rope bondage, will happily teach everyone in rope bondage. They'll have like the basics, they'll have intermediate, they'll have moderate, they'll have advanced. Advanced is where you can probably start doing stuff like suspension because you know how to actually properly distribute weight over someone's body so that you can literally suspend them from, say, a hook or something, with a bunch of rope. And you can do all kinds of stuff. But there are rules you have to know how to follow. The ones that go to the story that I'm talking about right now is, 1, never leave them alone. Because once you have them tied up properly, they literally cannot get away. If you leave and don't come back for 2 weeks, they're dead. Okay? The other one is actually go to a munch and learn how all this stuff works. 3, have some sort of safe word or gesture that you will be there to understand. And 4, always use things that make it to where you can just quickly free somebody instantly. So why do I bring this up? There was a lady several years ago, a husband and a wife. She was the husband and the wife. She had dissociative identities. No. Okay, so there was this married couple. And, well, they went and they saw 50 Shades of Grey or something. And they thought, that's really sexy. So they go to the hardware store, they buy some quick ropes, they buy this, they buy that, they go home, and she ties up her husband. Fully satisfied with her handiwork, she says, okay, well, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to get something, I'll be right back. Enjoy. She comes back from the store, he's dead. Why did this happen? She didn't know the rules. She didn't know what to do properly. And as a result, that man probably died a very agonizing, slow, and horrible death. And she had no intention, presumably, of making this happen. It is very, very, very important that you understand that all of this stuff is supposed to happen safely. 100% safely. Not dangerous. Or as safely as possible. Like there's something called safe, sane, and consensual. That's what 90% of stuff happens in. There's something else called RAC, which is risk-aware consensual kink. RAC is usually has the risk of causing permanent damage to you, and SSC usually doesn't. So an example of these SSC would be like, simple rope bondage. The rack version of that would be hanging someone and then bringing them down before they, die. So it was very important. So just be aware that if you are new, you should 100% not be doing rack at all. Period. Okay? The other thing is that most of the time people start off as bottoms in scenes and then move to tops. Even if they would normally want to top, most of the time people will start off understanding what it feels like, what this stuff is, before moving on. And almost every single top that I've ever done anything with has always told me that they do it to themselves first, or they have someone do it to them first, and then they do it to someone else. It's like, I knew a person who was like, someone that he was playing with had asked him to take a taser, full blast, straight to the nuts. And he said that sounds like not something he wants to do to someone. And so he was like, well, I want to know what this is. And he decided not to do it to that person. He decided that was the limit. So in that entire thing, there is, generally goes by stoplight color codes. You'll have green, which is, go for it. You'll have yellow, which is, let's slow it down. I'm still okay with what we're doing, but if we keep going further and further into this, it's going to start becoming to where I'm not okay with it. Then sometimes there's an orange, which is basically saying, hey, we're getting to the danger zone here. We need to back it off. And then there's red, which is, I'm done. Release me. I no longer consent to any of this. Get away from me. This needs to stop right now. Basically what they translate to. And typically, if there isn't an orange, they'll let you know that they're starting to get close to red, and people can pull back from that. And like, people have an extremely wide array of interests. And there's tons of stuff. So in the smoke room, we saw a Fennec Fox who may or may not be trans. There's a long and storied history of people who cross dress for pleasure, we'll say. Most of the time, you see that more among bottoms and subs than you do tops, typically speaking. But either one works. Whatever they want to do. Believe it or not, most queens, like drag queens, are not gay. Most of them are straight. And they just do it as like a form of self-expression, which is really interesting. Which is why it's like the makeup's like 50 layers deep and stuff and ridiculous and gaudy, because it's supposed to be ridiculous and gaudy. They're not trying to pass. They're not trying to blend in. They want to be as visible as humanly possible. That's the point. But we have our Fennec there, and sometimes you'll have someone who is NB. NB means they're just non-binary. ENB. In the letters NB is where NB comes from. And that basically just means non-binary. They're not siloed to being to one gender or the other. They're sort of just this in-between area. Back in like the 90s and the 80s, they called that androgynous. So when you look at like David Bowie and people like that back in the 70s and 80s, where they had this sort of aesthetic where you couldn't really tell definitively if you were looking at a guy, if you're looking at a man or a woman, that ambiguousness, that's kind of what they were going for. In the modern era, you have this wonderful thing where people are feeling more free to be trans, before a certain asshole got into office. Supported by other assholes. But you have, hopefully we get back to supporting trans people and non-binary people and gay people, which would be fantastic. Because when people are straight, you have this nice little cushion that you can hide behind. Right? And so with that sort of safety blanket, you can get away with a lot of things. You can have your weird interests and your oddness. But when you're gay, when you're NB, you have to know that's what you want. You have to know that's what you are. Like, you have to know to an extent. You can't get away with just, sort of not really committing to anything or really caring about this stuff. You do end up knowing. And you have to accept that about yourself. Otherwise, you just end up in this perpetual state of non-self-acceptance, which is a sort of hell, if you will. So, people have to get past a lot of cultural shame. Anyway, so when we look at the smoke room, there is a lot of truth to that. So, imagine you have something where you take all the social mores and you just remove them. You can do what you want. No one here will judge you. No one cares. You are here now. Enjoy yourself. You don't need to hide who and what you are. If you want to be a bottom, go be a bottom. Enjoy getting loving how you wish. I'm trying to dodge censors here. Enjoy whatever it is that you want. And have a good time. It's really all it is. It doesn't matter if you're like a 7-foot tall, muscle-bound giant or a 3-foot tall, really short person, we'll say. Doesn't matter if you're a 7-foot tall giant who's a bottom. Doesn't matter if you're a 3 foot tall, really short person, if you're a hobbit, and you're a top, there's somebody somewhere out there who will want to have fun with you. But it's just accepting that truth, if you will, and going for it. That's what the smoke room is. It's being able to just ignore all that. Throw everything, throw all of the repression and shame and everything to the wayside, and accept that you don't have to carry all that crap. You don't have to be repressed. There might be times where you have to mask to get through life, but you don't personally have to feel bad because you want to go have gay sex. That's fine. Go for it. You don't have to feel like you're a bad person because of this. Go for it. But there is a certain degree of, in society right now, where you have to not just be overt about it. But at the same time, there's another thing, which is where if you're too repressed, if you're masking too much of this stuff, people can also tell that. What's nice for people born these days is that, well, I guess for Gen Z and a little bit of Gen A, I don't know how old Gen A's are, is that you're getting to this point where during the, I think 80s was when Stonewall was, that fight has been fought for the last 40, 50 years for you. So nowadays it's well, gender expression, not gender expression, but sexual expression is now protected. We have a Supreme Court that's against that, but hey, hopefully we won't in the future. But we have something where if you're gay, that's fine. One, you're protected legally from being fired from your job because you're gay in most states that aren't hellholes. Laws are not supposed to be written that discriminate directly against you, despite Republican hellholes trying to force those things into place. And people aren't allowed to just target you directly, but people still do, but at least you have legal recourse against it. And we're starting to see more people in media who are gay or NB or trans who aren't just the butt of a joke. Like CSI, Special Victims Unit, every time there's a gay dude where something bad happens to him, it's always a joke to them. But that's starting to go away. We're starting to see more stuff, in the indie sphere where you have gay and bi or NB characters, trans characters, who are not just there to be mocked. So we start Helba Boss, Has Been Hotel, these are pretty big ones nowadays. Is starting to show up, and they're getting bigger over time. Which is good. But the smoke room is truth. That's the thing. It is accepting who and what you are and going for it. So that Fennec Fox puts on the wig, and what they are basically telling everyone is they are a bottom. They want to just enjoy. Typically, you'll have ones like that where they're willing to just kiss and love everyone who they've accepted as one of their tops, and they just go for it. It's all reckless abandon. It's great. It's wonderful in its own way. It's terrifying for religious freaks. Religious people, will say adherents, because their entire thing is all about control and limiting what you can do, limiting what you're allowed to do, limiting your expression. But these things don't have to be how it is. You don't have to let someone else dictate your life. So about these packs, real quick. So you have the leader, the doers, and we'll say the followers. And typically, who tops who goes down in the pyramid starts with the leaders. There can be more than one. And they top pretty much everyone underneath them. The doers, they top each other and everyone underneath them. And then the we'll say the followers, the participants, they top each other and there's no one underneath them. There might be, there can be, I'm putting into like 3 solid stacks here, but these stacks are all fluid. There's fluidity between them. But it's fun. It's fine. You're going there to have a good time. You're not, like, this isn't something where you're going to be punished or hurt. Everyone is there consensually. Nothing's happening to anyone nothing's happening that is not consensual. Whenever you hear about something where someone does something that's not consensual, they are either very new and they don't understand, and they will be very quickly taught that that's not okay, because that's technically, something. And whenever that happens, they either very quickly make amends, or they're not part of that group anymore. Period. Because the leaders tend to understand that they need to protect everyone underneath them. And that's really one of the big things about all of this, is that when you have that kind of pack dynamic, everyone is kind of watching the back of everyone underneath them. So when they get someone new, everyone's trying to figure out, okay, who is this new person? What are they about? Why are they about that? How can I control, not how can I control them, but I want to make sure they're actually safe for everyone else. If that makes any sense. So, but also I want to welcome them in so that they see this for what it actually is. So, it is a really fun thing. But, part of that is also not just being so lawful that you're just stuck in that. Like, be more neutral, embrace the abandon of it, embrace how weird and wacky the world can be, and it can be a lot of fun. But anyway, that's the smoke room. Is what it is. But I've been to places like that before. It's a lot of fun. You have a good time. Everyone's there for usually similar reasons. Sometimes you have some weirdos who show up. Usually those are people who are not savory, but at the same time, they tend to get outed very quickly and they tend to leave. Not savory, not good people tend to not exist in those spaces very long.
Not good.
Yeah, once they get outed, they're not there. So in that whole community, there's the actual community itself, and then there's what I like to call orbiters. And the orbiters the orbiters they are either people who are interested but don't want to jump in, or they are people who were in that got ejected and permanently just ejected from it. And so the reason they're still orbiting is they are kind of hoping that they can intercept some of those people who are interested, wanting to get in, and then take advantage of them. Unfortunately, those people do exist. You hear horror stories about really bad relationships and really bad things that happen. But I can tell you the actual community itself is fantastic, and but they, unfortunately, there's the whole thing that they don't have the right to sort of hunt down their bad orbiters and get rid of them, I guess. Depending on how you want to do that, they don't really have a way of doing that. And they don't want to go and put restraining orders on them because, it's kind of weird to go in to a restraining lawsuit and be like, well, this person keeps showing up to weird sex parties that I'm part of, and I don't want them to anymore. This person keeps coming to this dungeon in San Francisco that I keep going to, and they have been rejected and told not to come there. It's like, oh, okay, cool. You want that to be public record? All right. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, it's about being honest with yourself. And in this, we saw a little bit of that from Flynn. Here's the big thing. So with these kinds of relationships, one, you have to be honest with yourself. Because if you're at the bottom, you are very potentially allowing someone to put you in a position where you are completely helpless. I want to just let that sink in for just a half a second. If you are interested in bondage, well, congratulations. When you are fully bound, you're probably in a room in someone's house. You probably, at this point, can't escape from that bondage. Or if you can, it's because you were given a quick release. But that might not be openly available to you. So you are in a position where you cannot get out of that position without help. And 3, you have to have willingly agreed that this is what you wanted and then trusted someone enough to put you in that position where literally they could kill you by just not untying you. Sound good? The only thing they have to do to kill you is just walk away and not come back for a month. And you're dead. There's nothing you can do about it. Potentially. You have to allow yourself to be put in a position where you are completely helpless, potentially. Or at such a disadvantage that if that person decided to hurt you, you wouldn't stand a chance. Let that sink in. On the flip side, someone else is trusting you to not hurt them, and they willingly put themselves in that position for you. And you have to accept the responsibility of that. So you have to accept responsibility for their needs during the scene, but also after. Not just, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to leave, but I'm going to do this and now there's a chance that they have, we'll say, emotional needs after that I'm supposed to tend to. I have to take care of this person afterwards. I can't just leave and be like, don't call me. It's kind of important. So, yeah, it's something where you have to be very, very honest. And to get to that point with someone means you both have to be brutally honest with each other. And that's what Flynn was trying to be with Chase earlier. And he came to the realization that Chase had no idea what he wants. Chase is in that in-between area where he doesn't know what he wants. He sort of has an idea, but he sort of doesn't. It's a little bit of yes and a little bit of no, and I don't know, and maybe. So it's the whole point of, well, okay then. You don't know what you want. Anything I do with you could be dangerous to me. And so people tend to have crises of identity. And eventually they figure it out. And eventually they have a good time. But I will say places like the smoke room are interesting. Because it's something where it seems really weird and freaky at first, but once you've been there a few times, you get used to it. And eventually, it stops being all that weird and you can actually enjoy yourself. Instead of it being strange and new and odd, you see it for what it is. It's a bunch of people having the time of their lives. Just reckless abandon. enjoying. Because what is the point of being alive if not to enjoy yourself? Right? To an extent, within reason, but truly, what is the point? Money? You die and you leave all your money here. Do you really want to spend the next 60 years of your life working your ass off? 50, 60 years of your life working your ass off? Being miserable every day of your life? With someone who hates you? With kids who you're obligated to, only to die bitter and angry? Knowing that you should have enjoyed yourself, regretting your life? Go, enjoy. That's the most important thing. If that's in Reckless Abandoned Smoke Room, or a place like it, or a dungeon or somewhere, or at someone's house party, or a party somewhere, go do that. Enjoy yourself. No reason not to. If that's you like to go skydiving, or you like to go mountain climbing, like to go cave diving because it's dangerous, or whatever, then go do that. Don't sit around and not do anything. Lament the fact that you're alone. Just go enjoy. The world exists for you to enjoy it. Other people exist for you and they to come to a mutual agreement of how you will mutually enjoy each other. Other people are not the enemy necessarily. Some people are, but most people aren't. It's like that one song, all I want to do is have some fun before I die. So go and have your fun. Go and have your fun, for tomorrow we die. Whatever that tomorrow is. 60 years from now, 10 years from now, tomorrow. It is what it is. Anyway, what do you have, Terry?
No, I don't really have anything to add to that because I don't have a lot of experience in that area. I've been waiting just to get in a better place in life before I dived into those endeavors. So, yeah, I have nothing to add. But it was very informative, though, Flynn. Thank you for sharing.
Indeed.